everybody? This is our spoiler-free reaction to Rise of Skywalker. So, for those that are new, if we do this every once in a while, we're going to go round robin. We're going to do the good, the bad, the ugly, our scores, and then do we recommend it? To see it in the theater, that is. So, we have a plethora of folks. With that, we'll talk about the good.
It felt like there was a lot of effort and time put into the script and overall movie, in my opinion. And I think they did a good job making it like a little bit funny with like bits of romance and some emotional parts, but like keeping all the same in the fantasy section.
I liked some of the emotional beats in there. I think it hit me in the feels a few times. It was a little bit what I predicted way back in episode 7, but they didn't go as far as I thought they would.
I felt that it was very entertaining, especially in comparison to the last movie, where I probably would have say that I could do without 2/3 of the movie, of the old one. Well, this one I don't feel like I would skip much. I was very entertained by most of it.
Gina had already mentioned that there was a fair bit of humor, and I think there was the right mix for that. Nothing too over the top, nothing too cartoony. It felt Star Wars humor again. It felt much more like the original trilogy in that regard.
I think JJ does totally understand Star Wars humor.
Yeah.
Yes. None of the humor felt forced, like in previous movies where it just felt like they're just doing stuff to try to prolong a laugh. It flowed pretty well to me. You know, I didn't feel like, man, can we get it over with? Like, can we get to the next point?
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. Like, it was paced well. For those that listen to Force Sensitive or some of the Nerd Rage talk, like, I'm big on letting Star Wars breathe. But I agree with you in the amount of stuff that they had to tell you in this movie. It moves fast to do so.
They got, like, kind of right to the point.
Yep.
And rolled with it. They didn't have any, like, slow parts where it's like, okay, we got to rebuild and get the story propped back up.
Yeah, the first 15 minutes introduces all of the structural elements that you need for the rest of the movie.
For me, I did enjoy it a lot. I have to say, I mean, I thought I knew what fan service was, but before you sit down and watch this movie, you know, undo a latch on your belt because you're going to be gobbling that stuff up, man. You're gonna be
Don't say gobbling, my baby.
Another thing that I liked about it, filling in some gaps on a few things. Obviously, we had a lot of questions, even going from episode 7 to 8, and then, of course, 8 didn't answer some of the things we wanted, and they gave us some stuff to fill in some of those holes.
Gets an official thumbs up, fun romp from me.
Yeah,
which always goes a long way. I'm satisfied with the way they wrapped up the Skywalker triple trilogy.
I think that what they did with Leia was tasteful, classy, looked good. It was a proper send-off for her. She played a part. Nothing seemed shoehorned to me about that. It seemed like it was done with grace. That was the most important thing to me about her in this movie, and I think they did that well. That kind of leads me into my biggest good about this movie is I think that it handles all of the original trilogy characters perfectly. Like Luke, Chewie, 3PO, R2, every one of them, Lando, every one of them gets what they deserve to say, you know, goodbye to those characters forever, you know, theoretically. It does that extremely well.
They get their flowers.
All of them.
As you say.
All of them. The bad.
I don't like some of Rey's backstory.
Okay.
Some of it, to me, is a little bit odd.
Okay.
And sort of like an untouched subject that no one would ever think would happen. Which I like that part. No one would ever think that would happen. But it seemed off to me.
Okay.
Some of the dialogue was a little bit overly cheesy. In the points.
The gooey cheese whiz that goes on a Philadelphia cheesesteak, pardon me. Gooey, melty, running down your arm cheese.
I think because they had so much, and this will lead me to my ugly too, because they have so much recovery from the last film that a lot of people did not like. There's a lot to unpack in this movie, and they have to do it very quickly if they're going to keep pace, which I think the pace is fine. It's just they leave me with a lot of questions like, oh, well, if you had written all through as a solid trilogy properly, you could have set a lot of this stuff up over a course of films and it would have made a lot more sense to me. instead of it felt very rushed. It was very entertaining, but it felt very rushed.
I agree.
On video.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to talk about the bad without the spoilers. Well, I'd say some of it is Palpatine related.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. We
So
can.
that's all I.
Yep.
can
That's
say.
fair.
It had some very familiar beats to it. So we're familiar with certain movies that have made billions of dollars recently, and I was like, huh. Well, I guess if they did it, we might as well do it too. On your left.
That's true.
I didn't get that at all.
No.
Nope.
Oh no, I did.
Yeah. No. I'm just saying. Like none of that resonated with me.
I picked up on that.
I have. Trust me. I have plenty to get into, but that never crossed my mind.
Okay.
Bad for me would be lack of character development and some things that we've been waiting on.
There's an awful lot of new characters introduced into this that don't need to be in it. Zori and Jana specifically. I'm not entirely happy with the handling of the sequel trilogy characters. JJ is 1000% focused on episode 4, episode 5, and episode 6, and everything else be damned. That's my main complaint with this, is that I feel like more care and establishment went into the characters that we need to start getting away from, rather than the characters that we need to really sink our teeth into. Ugly.
So at the end of the movie, I felt like in one of the parts, Rey had like half given up on everything. And I don't like that. I think that's out of her character.
Dude, I buy that.
My ugly is probably not enough character development for, especially with the main cast, and because of all the backstory they had to put in, all of a sudden, there's not enough storylines to follow, or not enough story to kind of get the gist of what's going on. It's just kind of thrown at you, which is entertaining, but it doesn't really work plot-wise.
The ugly would be what we didn't get. Things I think we could have had very easily.
Ugly for me kind of piggybacks off of what Brink was saying. Final Battle, it felt very similar to another Disney product that made a bunch of money.
There's a couple plot points that, to me, they were rushed because they think they packed so much in this movie. I think they did that because they were trying to overcome the dissent of an opinion people all seem to have about episode 8. Some things I think that
I totally agree with that.
developed very quickly, that been struggling to get developed for 2 movies, that all of a sudden is just like, it happens.
Yeah.
It's
And
like,
again and again, it's like, oh, okay. Oh, and then this.
Yeah.
And then this.
yeah.
Oh my god, already.
And I'll be honest, that's kind of a stretch for me to even pick something ugly for this.
My ugly is 2 things. One, there's too many MacGuffins, transmitters and knives and this and that. Like, there's too many. It gets to a point where it's like it feels like all of the Harry Potter films, as you referenced, into one.
Right, and Raiders of the Lost,
It's
whatever.
It was, but I'm not mad at that.
I'm not
Like, I'm not mad at the adventure,
Yeah.
seeing an adventure Star Wars movie. But my big ugly with this is how they tried to please everyone. I feel like they scoured the hashtags looking for, oh, you don't like that Luke threw a lightsaber? We'll fix it. You don't like that this character did this? We'll fix that. You
It
don't
seems
like
like they had a
that this?
team of
We'll
people
fix that.
doing
Oh,
that,
you
and
want
then-
these 2 characters to go? Okay, we'll fix that. We'll fix, and like before they tried to fix everything, they forgot about the story they had to tell, which is why they had to create 10 different MacGuffins in order to tell it. So, let's go around with our round robin score out of 10.
I give it an 8.5.
An 8.
8.3.
7.5.
8.5.
7.75.
8.6, we're all going up 1, so
I give it a 5.5.
Wow.
Whoa!
What did you give 8? Do you remember?
9.75.
What?
9.75.
Wait, and Laura gives it a...
9.75.
Really?
What do you really
Do
like?
you remember what you
Very
gave 8?
interesting.
Yeah.
9.
I
The
think,
two.
What did you give 8,
I
Bobby?
think it made you feel good.
Well,
And
let's...
I think sometimes at the end of something with that kind of legacy, it's just okay to walk away and feel good.
Well, we should talk about that more in that room. But I would love to talk about that more. Do you recommend that people see it in the theater?
Yes.
Yeah, they should see it.
I already said yes, so yeah.
Gordon?
Yeah, Yeah, hell yeah.
Yes.
Damn straight.
Absolutely.
Absolutely as well. All right, so we're going to do a Patreon bonus, and then we'll probably be talking about it on Nerd Rage for the next 3.5 months. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.